I think we're live now.
Hey, we're live.
We're live.
And we're back.
We haven't started yet, though, have we? I don't even know where the...
If I drop, it's because I'm trying to figure out which process is killing my...
Oh. He figured out how to kill his Google Hangouts window. That's what he figured out.
Well, the podcast just got better, actually. It got better. Always a dickhead. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. I figured out how to do the left-right thing. Thank you, Wild, for that.
Not obvious, but it's possible.
It's not obvious. Not obvious at all.
You know, way back there was a bowl of soup and some chips that I really wish I was eating right now. I want to tell you that. I want to throw that in there.
All right, where's Clint? We will need a Clint. And if I go to this other window...
Is this Hangout link permanent?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to grab a laptop.
Okay, whatever. Whatevs. So hey, folks in the chat room who may be paying attention and listening. Hopefully my voice isn't too full. I have a, I'm remote. I actually have this like professional microphone here. This is called a Zoom, what is this, Zoom H4, and I think it is, and it's got nice capsules on the front of it. It's really slick, actually. But I didn't bring a cable with me that I need to actually plug it into my computer to use it as a microphone. So it actually is, it may as well not exist. So welcome back, Clint.
Hopefully this will be a little less.
Welcome back.
All right, my CPU is not complaining loudly now.
Are you running your Itsy demo?
No, actually, I stopped it.
That would do it. I tell you what.
Too many dependencies.
Ha.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Well, that's right. You were on that thread. Okay, great. All right.
We're on all the threads.
You are.
How's it going, gentlemen?
Fantastic.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm in the zone.
I'm good. I'm
in the zone. You can do.
Are you going to lower your third, Clint?
Yes, I am. I'm doing it.
Can't.
Michael is incapable of figuring this out. In case anybody.
No, I know where it is.
You just can't figure out how to do it.
No, I'm a very old version of Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
Chrome.
You know it updates itself, right?
Yes, it does.
He probably turned it off because he's that kind of guy.
No, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm that guy, but not that kind of guy. Now, I'm on Chrome 49, but I'm on OS X 10.6.
Is this the monochrome one? What version is that?
How are you still on 10.6? Is this like on your iMac or something?
Yeah, so there's some software that I've been using for years called Wiretap Anywhere, and it lets you take audio streams. It lets you do per app audio routing and recording.
Oh yeah, I know.
When Apple moved to the sandboxing shit, they basically killed the company that made that, and so I bought this Mac and left it on Snow Leopard, and apparently it's costing me the ability to do lower thirds. So.
Wow.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, that was Ambrosia Software, right? That made that.
It was, yeah.
I knew the president and CEO from IRC 20 years ago.
Wow. Call him up because I'm missing a license key.
They shuttered the company. They shuttered the company, man.
Yeah.
I used to. I had a. Do you remember back when like having a server on the internet was a big thing, right? He offered me. I had my own home directory on his IRIX web server that he was running up in Rochester. It was ipages.ambrosiasoftware.com/tilde.
How did the Cock 6?
Cock 6.
Did you ever get that email I sent you from my account?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
And I hate you even more for it. Yeah.
Found my cable.
Yeah.
Oh, you found your cable.
I found my cable. How was my audio, by the way? Because it's going to get better.
You sound a little Hal. You know?
Yeah.
You sound like the female voice in GarageBand.
Right.
Yeah. All right. How are you, gentlemen? I am going to be sounding better here momentarily. Just pay no mind to my built-in microphone.
I'm enjoying watching you put all this together.
Yeah, I have my Zoom H4n. Okay, there we go. Plug that in. Just like this.
Why are you doing that, Hal? Why do you?
Because the built-in Mac, if the built-in mic is tolerable, then I'll use it. But I'm remote today, so I'm not in my studio.
It's tolerable.
Yeah, but are people going to think that I've got the sexy voice, or are they going to not
probably
think
not.
that?
Definitely
See?
not. So what? Where the? I like the little Gorilla Pod thing. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So where are you remote at today?
I'm at Coca-Cola Enterprises. You may have heard of them.
Well, you're not really remote. Like you're across town.
Well, yeah. I'm in Marietta as opposed to Woodstock, for the folk who know the area. But yeah, we just did a Splunk ATL user group meeting at Coke, and I am borrowing a room so that I can then
SplunkTalk.
Do SplunkTalk.
Are you in the dirty South?
Always, yeah. It's funny. There was actually a notorious BIG reference in the user group meeting earlier today.
Like video. Maybe
All right, mere seconds from excellence in audio. Broadcasting. Where's my power? There's power. All right, now we have power. Do we have it should be set up as a USB microphone.
Look at that. This is, for those of you who are listening, this is what people have to do when they're not Leo Laporte and the crew.
Yeah.
Make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
There's all these wires and cords and inputs and stuff. Oh my. Have we talked to the podcast audience since we did Twyet?
No,
so.
we have not. We have not had a post Twyet.
Post Twyet. Wow. Well, that's something that we can talk about because getting Splint's perspective. Splint. Getting getting Clint's perspective on what the studio there was like is probably interesting for those who've never.
Okay, there. Now my
testing 1 2. You still sound hell.
I haven't switched my input yet. Right now I'm checking my levels, make sure that my levels are okay. My gain is like.
Can I get some
whack
in here maybe?
Where's that? Yeah, that's right. Stop. Okay, so now I should have a new to my audio settings.
I have a nice frozen image of myself here. This is nice.
No, why is that showing up?
Let it go.
Oh, I know what I need to do. I know.
Okay, fuck it. I'm just...
This is a.
Really can't have a browser window and Hangouts running at the same time.
There we go. Audio interface. Connect. That's what turns it on. There we go. All right. I don't know if people are talking to me in the chat room, but I'm not paying attention to it right this moment. You just have to bear with me. Okay.
He hates poetry. Look. All right. I'm giving up on the other browser.
I
have 30. I have at least 35 tabs open in that other.
Okay,
browser,
Michael.
so.
How are my levels, Michael? I'm on my other mic now. How's it?
Mm-hmm.
How is it? Is it good? Is it bad?
It's,
do I need more of it?
Yeah,
have more of it.
More of your helium voice.
What is that supposed to mean?
Uh-huh.
What is this now? Is this good? You guys hearing me okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're not helping.
No. We love it.
You guys suck.
It's awesome, man. It's great. Yeah, he's doing that on purpose. He's doing that on purpose. And he's trying to get us to recognize that he's doing it on purpose.
No,
and I'm not playing.
Yeah, we're busy doing something else. Sorry, bro. I was.
Wait, I don't even.
Yeah.
Okay. Does my voice sound normal or not? And is it better than it was or not?
Oh,
okay,
wow.
I sound like I've inhaled helium. Helium? What do you mean? Is that your fault, Michael?
Don't encourage him. You're feeding the trolls, Rachel.
See, what Dwayne? When you say this, I don't know which one you're referring to now.
He's referring to me. He knows that you're trolling us. And all right, let's move on and actually talk about.
Should we start the show?
Yes, let's start.
Should I use the audio settings as they are?
You can keep your Chipmunk voice if you really want to do that.
Tell me seriously if I need to change it back or not.
No, it's great. It's perfect. It sounds perfect, actually. What do you think, Clint?
It sounds awesome.
No.
I know enough about computer audio to know that the computer audio is not doing that to your voice, that you are merely fucking with us.
Well,
All right, fine. I'll turn back to the other one. Because I can't believe I can't believe anything that any of you say.
Okay, so now you sound Hal, and
now you sound like Hal.
Okay.
Go back to Chipmunk.
Okay, built-in microphone.
Chipmunk.
Now I'm on the H4. Do I sound like a Chipmunk?
Sounds great. Nope. Sounds great. Absolutely.
Let's do the whole show just like this. Let's do it just like this. I like this.
You know what? If we all do the show like this, I'm gonna change the edit after this, and you're gonna be Chipmunk or robot voice. Okay. Hal Schifferberg. Calvin!
Are you not entertained? All right, let's go. Let's. I don't care what you mean. Let's go.
Default microphone. Go. All right, Michael, play the music.
Okay. I should hit record though. I think.
Yeah. Well, you should do that. Yeah.
That would be good.
And we're in the streaming.
This episode 73.
73.
Okay. Try this. And it's time for the weekly Q&A that we call Splunk Talk. Episode number 73, recorded Thursday, March 24th, 2016. Clint, Michael, Hal, we're back on Splunk Talk. Who knows what we're going to talk about this week? Something tells me it won't be Docker. Let's do this.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Splunk Talk, finding answers without a doubt. Splunk Talk will help you figure it out. Splunk Talk, I can tell the whole world about Splunk Talk. Splunk Talk.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever it is you are. You are joined by the fantastic threesome. We're having a threesome today.
Is that our name now?
I don't know.
Can we vote on this?
The fantastic threesome. Michael Wild, Splunk Ninja Guy. Worked for Splunk. A bit too long. We might have to make a change. Anyways, we also have Hal
Rotenberg, that's
Chipmunk
me.
Rottenberg. You know,
This is gonna be an awful show, guys. I'm so sorry.
Hal Rotenberg, senior junior underling. Say hi, Hal.
Hello, Hal.
And former customer, now world level rock star, Clint. Not so dull, sharp.
You were the first person to ever say that.
Dude, that was fun. I just thought I'd let you know. Awesome. We're back here for Splunk Talk. So in the very organized and smooth running show prep, that we had earlier that some of you might have been listening to. I asked Clint, I said, have we podcasted since we went on Twit? And he said,
No.
no, we did not.
What is Twit? This week at Enterprise Tech. Who is Robot Voice?
That's you.
That's you, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
all audio.
You too.
So,
That's
Google.
nothing. It's Google.
Yeah, it is Google.
So, what we were saying about Twit.
Yeah.
Michael, who are these folks that you know from the Wayback Machine?
In episode 72, we talked about Robert Balliser. That's awesome. This sounds great. Robert Balliser, a.k.a. Padre. And Brian Chi and Curtis Franklin, but he wasn't on. And I know them from Interop, and they are doing their thing at the Twit podcasting studio. And he has a show called This Week in Enterprise Tech. And we went on, which was cool. Clint was in studio. Hal and I were on the internet, or the cloud, as you often know it. We're in the cloud.
Yes, over Skype. It was actually kind of epic. I mean, it was like a 5-person thing. There was we had a bunch of windows going. Now this is Twit is in the Twit network, and Twit, of course, Neil Laporte's business. He's been doing podcasts. He's like one of the fathers of podcasting, and you kind of built an industry around it. So it was quite cool to be pulled into as a guest there. Clint, what was the studio like and your experience over there?
So I mean, it's pretty epic, to be honest. I mean, like it's full on studio, right? So I mean, like you've got multiple places where they can record a podcast at any given time. They've got we were not in the main area. We were in the sort of secondary area, and Leo was about to record another one right as we were leaving, so we had to kind of wrap up. But they've got all their I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive probably to put it together. They had 8-channel mixers, and they had video cameras that were always set up and pointed at you, so you could just sit down. It was nice. It would be a lot better to be the main person, because the one thing you'll note if you watch the video is that I can't ever figure out where to look. I'm always looking over here or over there, because you guys were on a screen to my 45-degree angle, and my camera was straight in front of me, and so I'm constantly, like looking at you guys and not looking at the camera. So that was. But Padre had his like straight on, so like when the IRC and everything else was coming up, like it was easier. But it was a really, really cool venue. Definitely would like to go back sometime.
So for people that haven't listened to it, go check out Twit. Do we know the episode number?
On there.
It says Splunk.
Yeah. It's
PWIET
Splunk.
Splunk. I'll find it. Anyway, so that was fun. And 180 looks like the episode number.
Yeah.
So go check out This Week in Enterprise Tech, episode number 180.
And Clint gave a demo as well, which was cool.
I thought that was a pretty. I was pretty happy because I went back and watched it. I thought it was a really good 7-minute demo, right? All the way from core all the way up through ITSI. I thought it went pretty well.
Yeah, it was really smooth. Everything worked, and you showed awesome stuff about Splunk and ITSI. So that's awesome.
Yes, it is awesome. So what do we have to talk about today? We built somewhat of an agenda.
Well, you have a new job.
Oh, yeah, I do have a new job. Let's see. So been at Splunk 4 years. First 3 years or so were solution architecture and business development. And then I moved over to the CTO office, and I did developer evangelism. And now I'm moving over to, I guess you could say, the field, on the pre-sales side, specializing in two things. ITOA, so I'm on the part of the team that builds some of our products that are not security related. So we kind of align things into some different markets segments. So ITOA is IT Operations Analytics. And on the team of these ITOA practitioners, I am looking at DevOps use cases. So I'm going to be kind of helping to gather input from our customers and helping them solve some interesting problems that Splunk has only just started to look at. So it's going to be interesting, and a lot of more hands-on time with some of our products that I haven't had a chance to do that with, like IT Service Intelligence, as well as looking forward into new things that we'll be building coming forward. So I'm
still
excited.
Are you doing hackathons at all?
We do need to discuss that, don't we?
Yeah, hackathons.
Yeah. If a customer, if you as a customer have developers in house, or just a bunch of people that that want to do creative out-of-the-box things with Splunk, like with their APIs and SDKs and stuff, then yes, talk to us, because we do sometimes have the resources. It's not like a guarantee thing, but we have the resources sometimes to support some of these things. I did one of these for one of our bank customers, and we had like a monthly time or whatever, and we got a room and got a bunch of people together. I think we had like 75 people show up.
Wow.
Split them into teams. There was a dozen teams. And then they had a period of time. This was a one-day, actually it was more like a half-day event. So they had like 4 hours to then come up with an idea and build it using the data. So they brought the data. So they could either bring whatever this they had access to, or they could use their own production Splunk instances if they wanted to. It really didn't matter. But the point was they were going to build something with their resources, and myself and the other technical team supported them. So it's basically getting you outside of your daily grind, giving you some time set aside to do something creative with Splunk, and yeah, those are fun. Those are hackathons, and I do those sometimes.
Why would you do a hackathon? Why would a customer do a hackathon? What kind of?
If you have, so sometimes you have well. If you've got a lot of data in Splunk and you know it's valuable, but you haven't explored the value, so maybe you've got a set of people who are using it for some, keeping the lights on kind of scenario, and you've got some security folks that are, keeping the baddies out, but you're thinking, okay, I've got, some this is a bank, right? So they've got some interesting information about the business. They've got some, for example, their mobile application had some data in there, and they're like, what can we do with this stuff that we're not doing today? So that's what this was about, was giving some, some engineers. And I say, usually you think hackathon, you're thinking software developer, software engineer.
Writing code and producing a little thing. Right.
This was a mix. It was open to anybody, but it was about 3/4 who I would call IT operations folks and 1/4 developers. So whoever came, they used the skills and the data that they had to build something with Splunk. Some folks just did dashboarding and searches. Some folks did some really I'm trying to think of I forget the name of the tool, but some folks did some real like stream analytics before Splunk, and then they brought in the Splunk and doing some crazy stuff on the API side. So it just varied.
Yeah, I did.
Not sure about.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. It's probably the NSA. I did one with Verizon.
I see a foot in the background, Wild, with a yellow shoe.
That's a pony. That's a.
No. Other side. I think it was a small human.
Oh, well, that's not the reason for the robot. Yeah, they're small. My kids don't go to public school, so they had 2 weeks of spring break. So they go to Austin Waldorf by then.
Oh, that's okay. Next, I don't know if we end up doing. My daughter will be with me in the office next week because it is spring break. So.
Oh, nice.
For at least one day, because my wife's like, I don't want her every day. You have to take her one day.
So do a hackathon and have her hack on stuff.
I had her draw me a microservices architecture the last time she was in the office, which I still have on my desk.
Yeah, of course. Right.
And she doesn't really know what it was, but I'm like, it's a bunch of small things, and she basically drew me the same diagram everybody draws, with just a bunch of little boxes in a grid. And I'm like, there you go, microservices architecture.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
I'm keeping it in my list. So how you're doing DevOps now, and you're our DevOps representative on the ITOA practitioner thing. So I do want to highlight that we have sponsored, and I just pasted it into the SplunkTalk room, the Puppet's annual DevOps survey, which is kind of a big thing in the DevOps space.
It is. It very much is.
And so we are sponsoring that. This is the first year that they've allowed sponsors, and we're sponsoring it. So I pasted a link to take the survey. So we should put it in the show notes as well once we publish it. But I would love for everyone to take the survey because they're trying to find out, what is DevOps adoption like? Are people rolling out DevOps practices, and like are they just paying lip service?
What is
a
DevOps?
Doing things?
What is a DevOps? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wonder. I wonder how many people know, right? But it is a bit ambiguous, but mostly about the culture, right? I'm interested in people who are, are people actually starting to merge those organizations? We don't even always eat our own dog food. I mean, we're I would say we've still got some separation between Dev and Ops inside of Splunk as well, and we're working to fix some of that stuff.
Yeah, Matt says it's hot right now. It is.
So hot. It's like it's like Hansel.
Good Lord.
No, I did a fun hackathon with Verizon Business a few months ago that Hal was involved in, and it was cool. The other thing why you might want to do a hackathon if you're a Splunk customer is it's a good time to get like real work done. If you can get your management to let you guys hold one and take the time away from your real job, you might be able to get some Splunk done you wanted to do, or work on a data set that you've been, wanting to go after for a while. And Verizon did a whole bunch of cool things, and it was fun, except for we supported people in 3 continents, and that was great.
That was awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine. It was novel, actually. But the skills and the format of the event required someone else in the room, in this case, to really support that one. But, it was cool. They got a ton of people together.
It worked.
Oh, it did.
Yeah,
it did. It was just different.
Yeah.
So I wanted to address a particular comment. So as Brandon says, I DevOps my Fabric all day in the cloud. So I just wanted to say that was.
What did Rachel say?
She wants a dress made out of data fabric. I do too. I'm gonna tell that one to our new CEO. I think he's gonna like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna get because I want a suit now. I want a suit made out of data fabric.
Yeah, you can put it on Etsy. Like someone will build it for you.
Oh, what did my wife used to say? I probably can't say that on the podcast.
So I wanted to mention something before we forgot, because Rachel is in the room listening right now, so we got to do this, right? Splunk Trust is the most valuable professional program for Splunk. Some of you listeners may be familiar with the concept. What we have is a program. It's called virtual.conf, and the March session is coming up very soon on the 31st. Is that right? Yeah, we'll put a link. We wanted to let you know that we do these recurring meetings where usually it's a member of the Splunk Trust crew. They will come on and do a presentation. Sometimes they're reprising a talk that they did at a .conf or at a user group. Sometimes it's original content, but it's always going to be from an expert with lots of good stuff to share, and highly technical, demo focused. So it's not like this. This is a talk show. We don't talk about anything important. Splunk Trust virtual.conf. That's the good technical nitty-gritty detail. So I'm done with my commercial.
Do it. Awesome. The Splunk Trust is awesome.
Yes, they are.
Splunk Trust. Be smart. Get a fez.
That's how that works. Is that the? Okay. So did you want to talk about the timestamp extraction stuff here? We've got a few things in the show notes. Who would that
So I had an interesting thing happen to me yesterday, whereby which I was in the IRC channel, and I was in the professional services HIP chat, and I literally had the exact same question come to me from 2 different people at exactly the same time. And the question was, one person was replacing an ArcSight install, and they were just getting a feed of syslog from a bunch of stuff. And another person had a slightly different problem where he was getting a feed of JSON that had the timestamp in a couple of different fields. And so they were wondering, like, how do I, if I have this feed that has the timestamp in a couple of different ways, like, how do I go about extracting timestamp? Because the, if I can't separate them into multiple source types, what do I do? And there's a little known facility inside of Splunk for doing this called Datetime XML. And I'm sorry, you'll hate it once you open it, but it's really not that hard. And you can build a custom Datetime XML. Yes, you can do look-aheads as well if you really want to do some regex foo. I should actually copy and paste the email that Satoshi sent last night to the SE list, because like that, his freaking conditional regex stuff was pretty epic as well. So there are other ways, but actually the other problem with timestamps is timestamps don't use a regex. So you can set a prefix, you can set a format, but you cannot set a regex extraction, as far as I am aware. You have to, if you want to do regexes, you have to go to Datetime XML to do that.
Right. And that's a fun file to play with. Right.
So if I can mention briefly that as far as when it comes to improving the performance of Splunk, one of the best ways to do that is to ensure that you are getting your timestamp right and as precisely as possible for all your data sources. So this would kind of contribute to that, right?
Well, indexing performance. So
yeah, indexing performance specifically. I'm sorry.
We should be clear. Indexing performance is usually about 20% ish of the workload of a given box, right? 80-20 rule, right? 80% search workload. So there's a couple of key factors in indexing performance. There's timestamp extraction, of which there's a couple of places you can fix that. So set a time prefix. Always set a time prefix. Always set a MEX timestamp look ahead. That's very, very helpful. Should line merge equals false? Generally a good idea. And there's one other parameter that I'm missing. Somebody's probably going to tell me. What am I missing? And line breaking. What else am I missing, guys? There's one other.
It could be index extractions, depending on what it is, right?
Well, don't do index. So index extractions is one of the most dangerous things that. So I actually had this come from Splunk employees when I was in Shanghai last week, wondering why with index extractions their index turned out to be so large, and they were doing index extractions on Blue Coat proxy data, which was coming like in CSV or something, and well. Yes, you'll get very good query performance, but yeah, it'll be double the size at least. Right.
It's a trade-off. You're saying I want to. Index extractions are basically trading your disk space for the time of you create an index for all of those fields and field values.
Right.
Well, so I did actually put it in a feature request yesterday, based off of this IRC conversation. We may never do it. But I actually asked for us to be able to specify a timestamp field without, if you have KV mode JSON, I'd like to be able to specify a timestamp field using search time extractions rather than being forced to use index. And so it would push it back to index time. So like we would just do one index time extraction, but not store it not store the index extractions. Right. I think that would be very convenient.
Mm-hmm. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that would be good. It's a challenge when you get it wrong though, because you're in this issue of do I clean, do I restart, how do I deal with it? And,
yeah, so we had some ideas for that a while back. I really, and we may end up doing some of them. I would really like to have a baked-in concept of a play index or a test index, where data goes and you can validate and then fix it without having to clean something else or manually do it all yourself.
Yeah, or why not just send everything in the index back through the indexing pipeline and just do it over. Like, if it's wrong, then just send it through and have it re-indexed in another index. I mean, how do you get the data out? I don't know.
Nobody knows.
But
But speaking of JSON, though, there's another cool thing that I found
All
this
right.
week while I was working on some other stuff,
And
and
what was that?
it's called JQ.
Oh, wow. Welcome to 2014.
Really? I had no idea this existed.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Actually,
this, Joel.
13. Yeah. What? Yeah. It's great.
Oh,
Well,
so
tell us
there we
about
go.
JQ, Clint.
Yeah, JQ is pretty awesome. So you can go to jqplay.org is a nice web UI for it. And it's a command line tool for giving you sort of XPath-like query capabilities for JSON. And so I was building a couple little shell scripts where this turned in really handy. I mean, the simplest use case is just pipe JQ and it'll pretty print your JSON, which is nice, right? But I had another case where I'm working on, hey, I'm going to talk about Docker, working on some Docker stuff. And I was querying console, which is a key value store discovery thing, and it gives me back a list of JSON, and I wanted to get all the nodes that were part of a service as part of a shell script, and so I curl pipe JQ with a little query, and it prints me out, gives me a list that I can then use inside of my shell script. It's pretty nifty.
Yeah, that dude who wrote that should get an award. And let's actually, Hal, let's get an award made. Right.
Okay. Yeah, the SplunkTalk Award?
Actually, yeah, the SplunkTalk Award. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fantastic tool. Even if you find you have some messed up JSON, or maybe I've been in situations where I've gotten, let's say, a whole pile of, let's say, log events, and they're in JSON, but somebody's put all of the log events inside another parent object, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's in an array. So being able to transform that from the, and what I really mean is, let's say you had this parent object which was today's log events, and you had another one for yesterday's log events, and the events are all child objects inside of each other one. When you index it in Splunk, you'll have a challenge, right?
Yeah, and we don't like big events. We want lots of small events.
Well, and we're okay with a big event, but in this case, you actually want each one of those children to be its own event. So,
yep.
JQ's. It would be kind of cool if you could put something like JQ in the Splunk parsing pipeline, but
that would be awesome.
In this case, well, it'd be awesome if you could put a lot of things in there. But in this case, I was kind of able to ETL the JSON to just query it, but query down for every child, and then just dump that out to a file, and it's a really handy tool.
So you want to know what we really need, and what we really need is for all of these customers who listen to this podcast to go request features from people, so that people will do what I think we should do, which is
He's about to
why
tell
this
you
podcast exists. So we can bitch about stuff that they then make requests for.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what we're doing.
Right.
And so we've had in the backlog for a very long time, and multiple prototypes built, embedded scripting in the indexing pipeline. And so we embedded Lua, but it might be JavaScript or something else, right? But the idea would be that as the data flows through the pipeline, you can just write a simple little Lua script and do whatever the hell you want with it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wouldn't that be pretty badass? So all of these things that you're talking about is exactly what you would be able to do, right? Like having JQ, I mean, like you could write a little bit of Lua and completely transform the data.
Right. Yeah, it would be nice if that was extensible, and
that would be nice. So how does one request a feature such that it gets the attention that you would desire, Clint?
Is there a link in the product for that?
Scream loudly to your sales rep right now. Actually, the enhancement requests, that process is pretty broken. Scream loudly to your sales engineer and sales rep about having to have this. And yes, UDFs for eval would also be done in some sort of JavaScript or Lua type environment as well. So
just for completeness, even though the process for requesting an enhancement request, whether it's broken or not, maybe we should say it anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Just so as Rachel is saying, you can call into support and open a P4 enhancement request, and that it will at least generate a ticket, and that we could report on later if we like to do that.
There is some work ongoing right now we're talking about various methods. We may do something like user voice. We may do, I don't know what we're going to do, but
Okay, but the thing that you can do right now is complain to your sales rep, or you could open a support ticket and say P4 enhancement request.
Yeah, someone needs to open up a P4 enhancement request to have the P4 enhancement request process be better.
Process fixed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We're
yes.
not going to fix it unless someone requests it. I'm just joking.
Okay then.
All right. Hal, did
all
you
of
show
these
me
things.
this? Did you show me VS
Yeah,
Code?
Visual Studio. Yeah, so
it
Visual
was
Studio
it was
Code.
Glenn Block showed me this.
I
Freaking awesome
I
editor.
wanted.
It is an awesome editor.
Yeah,
I thought Sublime was the shit, and it is a great editor. Don't get me wrong. The VS Code is awesome.
I haven't
I
switched
do-
full time. I go back and forth.
I have both, and so there's some oddities with VS Code around indenting and some other it's the kind of stuff you'd think they got right, but I think that for the most part they spend all their time in JavaScript, and so a lot of the other things, other languages like Python, don't have some oddities.
But they support Windows PowerShell, and with the link that I've just dropped in the chat room, Splunk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there is a syntax highlighter for Splunk configuration files that you could check out. But VS Code is cross-platform. It runs on anything. It's actually from Microsoft. Visual Studio Code. It kind of says it in the name there, but it has no relationship to Visual Studio, the editor, at all. It looks and feels more like something like Sublime. It's eminently customizable, and it's got a pretty slick, kind of simple, slightly minimal view. And my favorite thing is that the integration with Git is really very useful to me. So if you're editing a file that is being tracked by Git, or if you open a whole folder, on your computer, you open the folder. If that folder happens to be a repo, then you get this view of any files that are changed, and you can make commits right in there, and it's just very easy to use.
Yeah, it's very slick. It's based on Atom. If you used Atom, they basically took that, and it's the one thing that people are upset about is that there aren't tabs in VS Code. And what I found, because I use Sublime for a lot of things. I use it as a text editor, just write down notes, and use it to edit Docker files and write scripts and stuff like that. And I have this endless pile of windows with endless open tabs, and they, partly because I'm sloppy, they have no context. I don't really necessarily know why they're, I know why they're there, but they're just there. And I almost like the VS Code doesn't have tabs. They have this working files idea, which is, it forces you to behave differently, but not having more tabs just works for me. But, they'll probably add it and then mess it up. But, I think there are, I want to say, I could be wrong because I was talking to Glenn Block about this, that there's another Splunk plugin for VS Code. I gotta look. I want to say it was a type ahead or whatever.
And yeah, it's got a lot of cool features. The Git integration is really nice, so it keeps track of when you open the file, it'll keep track of what's changed since the last Git commit, so you can see every line that's changed inside the edit. It's got a lot of cool features, but it also, like I said, I hope every version I install, and I hope that it fixes the minor, it has lots of features that are awesome and work really well, but the basic text editing sometimes falls over in various environments, and that annoys me.
But editors are very personal. But this is something definitely worth checking out if you haven't had the chance. It's Visual Studio Code.
Yeah, and if you're not a Windows person, don't get scared away by the fact that it's made by Microsoft and has VS in it. It's when you download it, you'll be happy.
No, it doesn't feel like a Microsoft product in that way at all.
Well, they're not well, we talked about this the last time too. They're
not the same company.
Hell hath frozen over. They're not the same company anymore.
Which is great. You know. Okay.
And
So
speaking
what
of
else we
other
got?
big giants, if everybody didn't notice, we got a little bit of press coverage yesterday on the Google Cloud
GCP,
platform thing.
right? Yeah.
We are
That was something that I was
splunking all the
a
clouds
big
now.
champion. We're splunking all the clouds.
Yes, all of them.
Every one of the clouds except for your cloud and whatever cloud that may be, and in which case we've got options for you there too. Yeah.
Clint, do you still have a server on the internet?
Do I still? I don't know if I want to answer this
home
question.
directory. I want to get a home directory.
What is the IP
Oh,
address?
yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is it's you know what? If you IRC in the Splunk channel, I think you can see it. Let's see if I who is myself if it's there. Oh yeah, it's there. So there.
There's a server on the internet.
I have a server, and I'm sure it's probably owned. I just don't really care. The only thing I use it for is tmux and IRC. So.
You got a Gopher on there? Yeah.
Oh, I love the Gopher. Like it's way simpler than the web.
Yeah.
It's the web is too complicated. I use the Gopher.
Yeah, the Gophers. Oh, that's good.
I've been trying to be more active on the Twitters too, but I have a hard time confining myself to 140 characters.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation right there. I don't really use Twitter except for kind of broadcasting when things happen. Conversation is hard. I don't really favor that.
Yeah, I used to use Twitter a lot years ago, and then found out that people are listening. I mean, like, I got in an argument with Amazon once, and then lo and behold, we were in the middle of a partnership with them. And I don't know. I got a tap on the shoulder, and I was like, oh, okay, well, Facebook rules. But I've been tweeting from time to time lately. I've been doing these little demos on Stinkin, which is cool. So I've, and just tweeting them and some other stuff. But that's good.
Yeah, those are awesome, by the way. I'm a big fan of those. Those are cool.
Yeah, they're good, except you can't edit them. So if you well, you can, but the way it works, it generates a JSON file. Yay, JSON, right? It's great, but it's 6,000 to 10,000 lines because, like, there is a little branch or little child object for every character, and the time that the character is spent on the screen.
Oh,
so if you type in "Hello, Clint, how are you?" That's 100 lines right there.
Yeah. And, so each frame in the video, the resulting video, I gotcha.
Is a character.
They're putting a lot of faith in the performance of their JSON parser.
Well, it's the one thing that is nice versus the other one, Do It Live. Isn't it Do It Live? Do It Live is cool. Do It Live actually lets you record and play back shell commands. So I've seen people use Do It Live and then pipe it into Stinkin, which is cool because when I record those little text videos, I try not to screw them up. And if I make a typo or have to backspace, I end up restarting the video because it's such a pain to edit it. But if you had it, use Do It Live, which generates the whole pile of what you typed in your shell, pipe it through, and it'll type it for you. But it's a pretty nice feature, and it's copy pastable, which I like. So if you watch one, I did one on how to resize or recreate your Docker machine if you use Docker Toolbox. You can copy and paste the commands right out of the Stinkin video, which is cool. So
what did you just paste there, Clint? JQ Play, is that the same as the tool?
Yeah, that's a web-based tool for JQ. I forgot to paste it earlier. So like if you want to play with the syntax of JQ, because the syntax is not simple for the query language. You can paste your little JSON document in, and you can use JQ, and you can play around with it, and it'll tell you whether it's good or not. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, and then the upper left it says a playground for JQ 1.5, and that's linked, so it'll take you to that dude's actual. I think it's on GitHub is where he stores his stuff, but it's.
And one last thing that I found yesterday via Panos, who works for me, is I found this in one of his. I'm modifying one of his projects, and he had hard-coded this URL in there. I'm like, oh, what's request bin? That sounds pretty cool. It's from RunScope, which I've never used their product, but the it allows you to put a man in the middle, like you basically just put the backend that you want your HTTP request to go to, and then you point everything to that, and you can see all the HTTP requests that flow through. So if you're debugging like webhooks or whatever else, really, really cool. So other cool little things you may want to play out, and that's requestb.in. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I have a cool thing.
I gotta go, guys. So we should probably wrap now.
Go.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Okay.
What have we learned today?
What have we learned today?
We talked about timestamping and syslog events. We talked about How's New Job, Visual Studio Code, working with JQ.
Chipmunk voice, which I'm going to transmogrify yours into be a Chipmunk voice on the podcast audio.
Request embedded language from your sales rep.
Yes, exactly. And then, of course, email SplunkTalk@splunk.com. We have a Twitter account, too. We need some more subscribers, dude.
Oh, yeah. Please do.
Tell your friends. Please tell your friends.
Yeah, or just create, like, no, don't do that. But that way the URL will be youtube.com/SplunkTalk or whatever. Anyways, multiple methods to get a hold of us. On behalf of the chat room, Clint and Hal, it's Michael Wild, and have a great week. Happy Splunking.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right.
Goodbye.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the button. I'm going to hit the stop button. Just like...
Hang up.
All right. All right.
Hang out.
Bye.
Later. All right, bye.
See ya.